Rozdział 5. Zrozumieć Briana. Czyżbyśmy grali Giną? Dudum, dudum.
At last, Bennett's apartment building. Shouldn't be too hard to find a fire escape to get up there. I'll go up to his penthouse, steal the recordings of my therapy sessions, and find out what happened on Mala Island once and for all. Okay, now! Darn it. I can't take the luxury of going into the street again, or someone might recognize me, so I better just do what I came here for. Bad news. There's no sign of a fire escape. I'll have to find some other way into the building.
No niestety. Dobra, czyli dalej gramy Brianem. Zobaczmy. Rozdział 4. Mamy ukończony. Przejrzyjmy go sobie. Caluśki, bo czemu by nie?
Gabo convinced me of a new plan. Kurgan and I had the same height and build, more or less. I could make everyone believe that I was the dead guy, and that would keep them from looking for me when I escaped. First, I had to trim off Kurgan's giant fingernail. Then, remove the hair from his back, and put a tattoo on him just like the one I have on my butt. I also needed to set up his accidental death so that his headless body wouldn't arouse suspicion. And most important, exchange my medical records with his in Dr. Bennett's reports. While looking for Bennett's office, I found a huge, macabre, run-down old room that's no longer used. It seemed to be an old morgue. I wanted to investigate the swimming pool in the room, but the ladder broke when I was down inside it. I couldn't get out, so I grabbed some forceps, which I used to pull an iron bar out from the pool's wall. The bar then came in handy to move a heavy metal drawer. I tied some hosing to the drawer and created a miniature trampoline. That done, I was able to jump out. Clipping Kurgan's fingernail was easy, using the knife from under my pillow. I put Hollister's birthday cake candles into a bowl that I found in the morgue. I put the bowl into the furnace next to the central fan in order to melt the wax, and then I waxed the hair off Kurgan's back. To copy my tattoo on Kurgan's fat behind, I needed Gabo's artist's pen. I also needed to use the photocopier to make a photocopy of my butt. I put it all together, Kurgan, artist's pen, and photocopy, and the plan was a winner. I opened the hatch in the central air duct area using the iron bar. Just before my escape, I needed to lean Kurgan's body over into the hatch so that everyone would believe his head had been minced to bits by the machinery inside there. Bennett hadn't slept for days and was running on coffee. So, from the air vent in his office, I sucked the coffee out of his coffee cup. I did this with an amazing remote vacuum I made with a medical vacuum and a length of plastic tube. From the morgue, I grabbed a set of shackles and iron chain and placed them around the metal bars of the grating that led to the roof. I put the bar of iron through the shackles and turned it. This way, I managed to get the bars to bend a little. I climbed up onto the roof and found the cable that Gabo had mentioned. I soon realized I couldn't slide down the cable with only my bare hands. Then I had a flash. What if I hung onto the forceps and sort of zip-lined down that way? I just had to wait for midnight to toll. Miss Palmer caught me coming out of the casino and made me take the same pill I'd avoided taking earlier. I asked Mickey, aka Dr. Reset, our expert in pharmacology, about the pill. But since he constantly loses his memory and goes wandering off into his imagination, I had to guess what he was muttering. It turns out that Neuroshockyne XR would give me terrible seizures and uncontrollably violent attacks, unless I were given some sort of electrical shock. I attempted to convince Ernie to give me the taser that Miss Palmer keeps in her purse, and I got it, but only after giving him several thousands of dollars worth of casino chips. Gabo performed the electroshock, and I don't really understand why, but I passed out. I woke up at exactly the time planned for my escape, and just managed to get away without being caught.
Okej, czyli wszystko się zgadza. Piękna historia. No i teraz musimy się dostać do biura Bennetta. Nie podoba mi się to miejsce, ale cóż.
That's the dining area in a restaurant. Looks empty. Oh wait, there's a guy asleep at one of the tables, I think. Well, actually it's not a window. It's just a thick glass panel that doesn't open or close.
Ciekawe.
I used it as a hiding place when I got to the alley.
Zobaczmy, czy jest coś w środku. Zawsze coś jest.
Filth, trash, and garbage. And a half-empty can of paint. Okay, technically that's just garbage too. But it's so shiny and pretty.
Ciekawe. Plakaty?
How cool is that? They're all for groups that I love. The one in the middle is for Viejo Musical, a crazy bunch of dudes with a sizzling hot rhythm. The two on either side are for his haircut, an indie folk group that Gina's wild about.
Coś więcej mogę? Tu jeszcze mogę zajrzeć.
Francacella? This graffiti could be a reference to just about anything, from the artist himself to a new type of illegal rave. The nasty stench wafting out of there is enough to spur the creation of a whole new race of mutant turtles.
Zmutowane żółwie, coś mi to mówi?
Let's make a preliminary attempt. The manhole cover is so thick and the hole so small that I could never lift it with my bare hands, not even with the tried and true technique of sticking in my pinky finger.
Mogę iść tutaj. Dobra, sprawdźmy, co tu jest. Tum. Więcej śmieci. Fajnie.
Trash bags, boxes, tubes, a broken wheel, the most select waste from the finest homes. I don't see anything that I'd ever need or want. It's the epitome of the junk food concept. I'd love to, but my schedule's all booked this week. Call me next week and I'll make some time at my unrepairable contraption repair garage.
Dobra. Budka
Since the
telefoniczna.
invasion of the cellular phone, it belongs to a species on the verge of extinction. Not only is it not ringing, but the call is for somebody else. One of the dullest, most lifeless streets in Manhattan. No doubt.
Można tam pójść? Pewnie nie.
No, it's much safer for me to...
Dobra. Drabina. Wchodzimy. Zobaczymy, co jest na górze.
The end is here. Have a nice...
What? Co to było? Niedobrze, nie...
This here's Bennett's apartment building.
Come on, let's cut through here.
No, let's go another way. Or do you want to stay to chum around with the bums?
I'm shocked. I'm terribly saddened to hear this. The doctor he was a very close friend, so all we can do for him now, and especially for Brian, is watch this.
Patient, Brian Vasco, session 25, October the 6th, 2008.
Good, Brian. Before continuing with your memories, would you like to go over what you've been explaining to me in your latest sessions?
Yes.
Będzie historia, jak
All right.
z Runawaya 2.
What happened when you attempted the crash landing on Mala Island?
Otto had vanished. I found a military camp by the lake.
O, nie
I asked the
wybrałem, co
soldiers if
trzeba.
they'd seen Gina, and I talked to their main officer, Colonel Kordsmeyer. He told me he hadn't seen her, but I could tell he was hiding something. So I decided to infiltrate the camp and search for her.
Everything began during your vacation in Hawaii, correct?
Yes. Gina hired Otto, an old German pilot, to take us on a day trip to Mala Island. I think Otto had a heart attack. When we flew over a big lake, I threw Gina out the door with the only parachute on board. And then I tried to land the plane.
Tell me how it all started again.
Yes. Gina hired Otto to take us on a day trip
Dobra,
to
to już
Mala
było.
Island. I think Otto had a heart attack. When we flew over a big lake, I threw Gina out the door with the only parachute on board. And then I tried to land the plane.
Tell me about how you infiltrated Kordsmeyer's camp.
I knew Kordsmeyer was waiting for a scientist to come visit. Thanks to O'Connor, a really dumb soldier, I was able to impersonate the scientist, but I couldn't find Gina. Still, I discovered clues that something weird was happening in the lake, and also that the only person who'd know what was going on was this guy named Professor Simon in Alaska.
What was the relationship between Gina and the extraterrestrials?
When Gina fell into the lake, they rescued her and took her to their ship. She had gunshot wounds, probably inflicted at the orders of Korsmeyer. They tried everything they could to heal her, but without the energy stones, Gina would soon die.
So the extraterrestrials found Gina?
When Gina fell into the lake, they rescued her and took her to their ship. She had gunshot wounds, probably inflicted at the orders of Korsmeyer. They tried everything they could to heal her, but without the energy stones, Gina would soon die.
Nie, takie smutne.
Do you know that song about the frog?
The Japanese frog lullaby? Yes.
Nie, lepiej nie. Nie będziemy śpiewać tej piosenki.
Tell me about your trip to Alaska.
When I found Professor Simon's house somewhere in the middle of Alaska, he told me the unbelievable truth. At the bottom of the lake on Mala Island, there was a spacecraft from the planet Trantor. With the help of an alien accomplice, Korsmeyer stole some energy stones from the Trantorians, and without them, these aliens would die for sure. He would only return them in exchange for a technologically advanced Trantorian weapon.
Do you still believe there were extraterrestrials on Mala Island?
When I found Professor Simon's house somewhere in the middle of Alaska, he told me the unbelievable truth. At the bottom of the lake on Mala Island, there was a spacecraft from the planet Trantor. With the help of an alien accomplice, Korsmeyer stole some energy stones from the Trantorians, and without them, these aliens would die for sure. He would only return them in exchange for a technologically advanced Trantorian weapon.
Dobra, to już widzieliśmy. No dobra, niech będzie ta piosenka o żabie, czemu nie?
Come on, be a good boy and sing me the frog song.
Kaeru no uta ga kikoete
Nie wierzę, że to klikłem.
Gua, 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 gua. Gero, 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 gua, gua, gua.
Okej, dobra.
Could you translate the frog song for me?
The croak of the frog is what we hear. Croak, croak, croak. Ribbit, 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 ribbit. Croak, croak, croak.
Okej, to bez sensu, ale dobra.
Excuse me for making you look like an idiot by forcing you to sing. I just get in a funny mood on Mondays.
Well, since I'm under hypnosis, I don't really give a hoot. You're excused.
Okej, dobra. Czy udało ci się odzyskać kamienie energetyczne kosmitów?
Did you get the extraterrestrials' energy stones back?
Getting the stones Korsmeyer had stolen was impossible, but with some friends' help, I found another piece of Trentonite. It had been hidden for centuries in a pirate ship at the bottom of the Pacific. I got that stone and returned to Mala Island.
Okay, Brian. I guess this is about as far as we can go with our review of prior sessions. Let's delve into unknown territory at last. In the fantasies that your memory seems to recognize as reality, did you manage to deliver the energy stone to the Trantorians and save Gina's life?
It's all a bit confusing.
Just try, Brian. Did you get to the lake without being seen by the soldiers?
Yes, there was a turtle. I followed one of them in order to sneak onto the ship, but Korsmeyer, Tarantula, and their troops were a few steps ahead of me. I took out one of the guards and put on his uniform, then they saw me. To reach the heart of the spacecraft, I was going to have to do it the hard way. In the end, I made it to a sealed chamber. My sixth sense told me where I was supposed to place the Trentonite. And that's how I managed to get the Trentonite to Alpha, the leader of the Trantorian ship.
It's fascinating that your mind is able to believe all of these wild adventures, Brian. Let us continue. Did it take Alpha long to get his strength back?
Not long at all. In a matter of minutes, he went from being half dead to being completely healthy.
You were telling me that Alpha recovered his powers. How long before that happened?
Not long. In a matter.
Dobra, to już było, teraz to.
Were the Trantorians able to regain control of their ship?
Yeah. Alpha woke up the rest of the crew, and they attacked the soldiers and took Korsmeyer prisoner. as well as Tarantula and the alien trader who'd stolen their energy stones.
So, the good little Martians had a field day with the bad old humanoids, right?
Yeah, Alpha woke up the rest of the crew, and they attacked the soldiers and took Kordsmeyer prisoner,
Było.
as well as Tarantula and the alien trader who'd stolen their energy stones.
And then what? Don't tell me the Trantorians themselves took Kordsmeyer to the authorities.
No, they used a mind control device, so I'd do it for them. By activating it, I could take control of Kordsmeyer's body while I just sat there, motionless. And by controlling the Colonel, I could make him confess his crimes to his second-in-command, Lieutenant Colonel Jerome D. Chapman, who would no doubt arrest him.
Okej.
I had to do this fast, because after 1 hour, the person using the mind control device loses his powers and the device disintegrates.
By the way, how was Gina during all this?
Luckily, she was fine, but she was still unconscious. Alpha told me she would still take a while to wake up, and that afterwards she wouldn't remember a thing. But I didn't care. I finally got to see her again, alive and safe and sound.
Would it bother you to tell me how the Trantorians planned to get Kordsmeyer to turn himself in again?
No, they used a mind control device, so I'd do it for.
Było.
By activating it, I could
Fuck.
take control of Kordsmeyer's body while I just sat there, motionless.
Czemu ciągle wybieram te same dialogi? God damn it.
And by controlling the Colonel, I could make him confess his crimes to his second-in-command, Lieutenant Colonel Jerome D. Chapman, who would no doubt arrest him. I had to do this fast, because after 1 hour, the person using the mind control device loses his powers and the device disintegrates.
Okej.
In other words, the only gift they gave you was this device, which you say would stop working after 1 hour.
In addition to the device, they gave me a very special gift. However, they insisted I be careful. Trentonite is powerful, so I had to keep it from falling into the wrong hands.
They gave you the Trentonite, if I'm not mistaken.
In addition to the device, they gave me a very special gift. However, they insisted I be careful. Trentonite is powerful, so I had to keep it from falling into the wrong hands.
In other words, the Trantorians left you with this hot potato and took off. The nerve.
They said that Earth had become too hazardous for them, and that they would never return.
O nie, czemu?
They vanished in utter silence. Nobody saw them appear, and nobody saw them when they left.
Let's go over everything again. The Martians gave you the Trantonite and a device to control Kordsmeyer's brain with, and then they left. And what happened to all of you who were inside the ship?
Alpha told me the soldiers would be beamed back to the military camp, and that all of their memories about the spacecraft would be erased instantaneously. As for me, I appeared inside of Colonel Kordsmeyer's tent. I could still control everything he did. I could see myself holding on to the mind control device. Then I remembered what Alpha had said. I had 1 hour to make sure Kordsmeyer was put in jail before the device would disintegrate. Just 1 hour.
How am I gonna do this? I've got to get Kordsmeyer and Tarantula arrested. But as soon as that happens, the Trantonite will probably get taken away. I'm not sure how I'll set things up, but within an hour, the Colonel and his mercenary will be behind bars. And my Trantonite will be in a place where nobody can find it but me.
Okej, dobra. Ciekawe. Czyli jesteśmy teraz pułkownikiem Kordsmeyerem. Zabawna, naprawdę zabawna gierka. 36. Dobra. Hello Brian.
On his forehead, he's wearing, or rather, I'm wearing, The mind control device that allows me to control Kordsmeyer's body for 1 hour. According to Alpha, she'll wake up more or less when the mind control device disintegrates. She's finally here. Right in front of me. I can't believe everything I had to go through to get her back.
No, dokładnie.
No. Alpha says she's in such a sleepy state that she won't wake up until about an hour after getting off the ship.
Nic tutaj nie ma w sumie.
She's a murderous mercenary with no scruples. But thanks to me, her days as a criminal will be ending very soon.
Bardzo dobrze, dobra. Wychodzimy. O, jest nasz stary kumpel.
Marine Zachariah O'Connor at your orders. My colonel. My sir. My. Semper Fi, sir.
Oh, how nice.
I'm here, my sir. Colonel.
I would have never guessed.
Dang it, sir. I mean, I'm not there anymore, my colonel.
Unbelievable. And where is there?
There, sir, my colonel. Where their mission is.
Look, soldier, let's get things straight.
Żołnierz O'Connor, tak, znamy go z Runaway 2. Przezabawny gościu, naprawdę.
Do you even know what Semper Fide means?
Yes, sir. If you yell a lot, it means you're a Marine, sir. I yell it when I don't know what to say, my colonel. Semper Fi.
Semper Fide means ever loyal.
Why, shoot, sir. You just described me. I'm as loyal as a dog. Marine Zachariah O'Connor, always loyal.
What is that mission you were talking about?
Shoot, sir! You're the one who said, give the mission to the dumbest and most unessential soldier in the regiment, sir! And that's me, sir, Marine Zachariah O'Connor. Semper Fi.
What does the mission I asked you to perform?
Recovering the box of Havana cigars for my colonel from the deepest part of the Hawaiian jungle. Sir, my colonel.
I would like a report on this cigar-related mission.
Sir, I'm an elite, I can't write.
Then report to me orally.
Wait, is that where the suppositories go?
Oral means by speaking.
Sir, yes, sir. The helicopter performed the Havana cigar drop far away, at the wrong coordinates on the island. Colonel, they were in the middle of the jungle, so I headed there. More scared than embarrassed, sir.
Why were you afraid to go into the jungle?
Monkeys, sir! Those sneaky monkeys that tried to steal my cap and threw coconuts at me.
Couldn't you defend yourself from the monkeys?
Yes, sir. I glued my cap to my scalp using the regulation glue, my colonel. The bad thing is that the monkeys didn't have your cigars, sir.
O Boże.
I'm taking away the glue you used to glue your cap onto your head.
That's the regulation survival glue, sir. It's all yours, sir.
Nice.
I wasn't familiar with this brand, soldier. I didn't know we had regulation survival glue.
The rules are a bit complicated, sir, but they say, in order to impede the dehydration caused by colitis, dysentery, and other agents which lead to uncontrolled rectal evacuation. As soon as a soldier detects the first symptoms, he or she is required to apply the regulation glue to the site of expulsion of the waste product. I don't understand all that stuff about dehydration, or colitis, or dysentery, or evacuation, or rectal or waste expulsion.
Bla, bla, bla.
But the important thing is I learned it by heart and I can regurgitate it on command. Sir!
Rectal means where you put your suppositories.
Why, shucks, sir. I don't know what to say. Semper Fi.
If you don't understand what you're saying, why memorize it?
To say something smart once in a while, my colonel, sir. Plus, don't forget, I almost never know what I'm talking about. Semper Fi.
Let's just move on to another subject. Who had Kordsmeyer's cigars then? I mean, my cigars. Your colonel, sir.
These awful zillion-year-old geezers, a Japanese guy and a German who looked like they just came out of a war movie in black and white. They had smoked 7 of my colonel's cigars. My colonel, sir. But I managed to get the remaining cigars back and skedaddle out of there.
Dobra, czyli po prostu żołnierz O'Connor udał się na koniec dżungli, żeby odzyskać cygara, a tam był po prostu Otto i jeszcze jakieś małpy, czyli ogólnie zakończenie z Runaway 2, tak się zakończyła 2, dokładnie tym.
I'm starting to believe that you have a knack for intelligence.
How'd you figure that out? Sir, I sent my application into intelligence services, but since I'm a moron, I'm not sure they'll let me in.
Just how much of a moron are you?
A total moron. Utter and complete, sir. Marine Zachariah O'Connor, at your orders. A-Class A, nincompoop. Oh, sir, my colonel.
If you're a moron, how do you intend to get accepted into the intelligence services?
Precisely because I'm a moron, sir. I'm the perfect candidate for espionage stuff, because nobody'd ever suspect I have anything to do with intelligence work.
What do you use that pretty little head for?
To keep my insides from getting wet, Colonel.
You're right. Your intelligence is a topic we're better off avoiding. At ease, soldier.
Semper Fi.
Dobra.
At ease.
Dobra. Wszystko, co chciałem, to się od niego dowiedziałem. Tak przypuszczam.
It's full of coconuts. Okay.
Bierzemy kokos.
They grow some fine coconuts around here. It's twice as big as the ones they sell at those upscale supermarkets in New York. O'Connor is so oblivious that he's not even surprised by the fact that I, the colonel who ordered him to get the cigars back, haven't even put them in my tent yet. I don't smoke, but what the heck?
Mamy cygara.
1982. That thing is older than I am. I know that sounds weird because of my current appearance, but try not to forget that I'm actually a debonair collegiate youth with handsome blue eyes.
O, zabawne. Coś więcej? Nic więcej. Nie możemy się stąd ruszyć tak naprawdę, więc... czy możemy się ruszyć? Możemy się ruszyć jednak, dobra.
Those are the world-famous tiki ruins, one of the main tourist attractions. I recently discovered that they were actually built by Trantorians.
Ooh.
No, I'm a bit freaked out about getting too far away from my real body.
Dobra, wchodzimy do środka. Dum, dum, dum. I robimy magiczne sztuczki.
A gift from O'Connor.
Pęknięty, widzę, że jest pęknięty.
Looks ancient. Looks ancient.
Użyjmy go na Brianie.
The Trantonite is inside. It won't fit. She's my girlfriend. I don't want to kill her. Getting... Inside is the gift Alpha gave me for helping the Trantorians. I'll take it.
O! Nice, bierzemy.
Great. Now I just have to hide it
W
somewhere.
kokosie, gdzieżby indziej. Pyk.
I like the idea, but the coconut doesn't have any holes to put anything in. I have to make sure it doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
To jest ten trantonit. Trantonit, dobrze wymawiam.
According to O'Connor, an old German guy lost in the middle of the jungle had them. Could he have meant Otto, or is that too far-fetched?
To było to.
Okay, I'll use the other knife for leverage too, just in case. While I was at it, I drank the coconut milk inside and ate the meat. It was amazingly tasty.
Tak, dobra. Tam schowamy trantonit.
Not the best hiding place in the world, but at least it'll be out of sight and has a protective shell.
I zaklejmy.
Right, if I do this, it'll be a lot harder to figure out that the Trantonite is inside. In any case, I still have to find a way to keep the soldiers from finding it when they come to arrest Kordsmeyer.
Granat.
No. I'm supposed to be Colonel Kordsmeyer, who can blow things up without asking permission. But I don't see the point. For macho reasons, only a soldier would understand I've got it hidden inside my underpants.
Ciekawe.
It's loaded.
Naładowany. Pistolet.
O'Connor rescued it. It's small. I've got it attached to a piece of rubber, and it's inside my right boot.
Fajnie. Dobra. Wychodzimy i dajemy temu idiocie kokos.
Great idea.
Yes!
Soldier,
Yes, sir. Colonel, sir.
I'm gonna give you a coconut. I know you have a lot of them already, but this one here's special.
Does it bite?
No. What you gotta do with it is hide the thing.
In the place where I put my suppositories.
No. Well, not necessarily. Put it wherever you want, but hide the thing. I don't want anyone to know you've got it.
I'll protect it with my life. That coconut is now worth more than my own head, my colonel.
Good. You only give it to someone who says this password to you. We all know the truth. Life consists of how we choose to distort it.
We all know the truth. Life consists of how we choose to distort it. Sir, password memorized. My colonel, sir.
Perfect. When all this is over and things calm down, either Gina or I could go find O'Connor, give him the password, and get the Trantonite back.
Jasne, żeby to było takie proste. Podejdźmy. O, proszę. Nie wiedziałem, że można podejść. Co my tu mamy?
They couldn't find a bigger one? Let's see now.
What would you like, my colonel? I was about to go to bed and...
Number 1, nobody goes to bed here until I give the order. Number 2, who the hell am I talking to?
It's me, Leslie, your son. I mean, your secretary, my colonel.
Oh, yeah. All right, then.
Who would you like to speak with, my colonel?
Get Lieutenant Colonel Chapman on the horn.
As you wish.
What would you do if I told you I'd betrayed my country?
My opinion has not wavered. I will be forced to arrest you, sir.
Don't you budge. I want to be able to locate you for the whole next hour.
I shall do.
Refresh my memory. What is it we're doing on this island?
Sir, I don't understand. We're waiting for the scientists to get here so they can examine the meteorite with our protection. According to their speculations, it is the bottom of the lake.
I just wanted to check whether you were still at your station.
Okej, jeszcze raz. Laptop.
Must be Kordsmeyer's, if you ask me. Excellent idea. Maybe I'll find some files that demonstrate Kordsmeyer's fraudulent activities to help him get arrested. Nada. Either I'm a computer moron, or I just can't locate them. Or maybe Kordsmeyer is a true genius and keeps any files that might incriminate him somewhere else.
Dum, dum. Ja wiem, gdzie je trzyma. Granat.
Looks ancient.
Tylko jak się dowiedzieć teraz... Bo pamiętam tą zagadkę, tylko nie wiem teraz jak zrobić, żeby z tego granatu zrobić pendrive'a. O, dobra, to jest to.
You wouldn't happen to know where I keep my illegal activities filed, would you?
No, I don't know what you're talking about, Dad. My colonel.
Get looked.
Dobra,
Don't.
nic
I want to.
ciekawego.
I.
Jeszcze raz.
That O'Connor guy. We can trust him, right?
Yes, sir. He is so stupid, so honest, and so loyal that he would be able to screw up any operation underway just to stick to his word.
Get me the White House.
Yes, my colonel.
Thank you for calling the mahogany line of the Oval Office. At this time, the president is not available. Please define what type of individual you are in order to provide you with a customized, pre-recorded message from our president.
Prezes Coca-Coli.
President of Coca-Cola.
Sir, yes, sir. At your orders. As soon as I return, I promise to call you. At your...
Nic się nie dowiem raczej. Coś jeszcze mogę tu sprawdzić? Nic więcej. Trochę lipa. Coś trzeba z tym granatem zrobić, tylko co?
I don't want to kill her. Well, not that I care much, but it may be a good way to get rid of all the
No,
evidence
czemu
that
nie?
the Trantorians ever visited this pretty little island. Let's see now. First I pull the pin, then I put the grenade inside the capsule, I close the capsule, I walk outside, I throw the capsule towards the lake, and boom! If nobody sees me, cool. And if they do see me, well, I'm supposed to be the man in charge around here, aren't I? So go for it.
Tak.
Gentlemen, you have to be extremely careful when handling grenades. Never, I mean never, in any case, pull the pin before the right time. Oops. A grenade with a USB connection. What'll they come up with next?
Nice. Dobra, teraz możemy użyć go na laptopie. Finally, bitch. Yo.
Okie doke. Let's see if I get lucky and find some explosive information.
Dum, dum. No, trochę czasu to zajmie niestety. Brian musi się śpieszyć. Została mu niecała godzina. Ale na pewno mu się uda.
I hit the jackpot. The USB grenade contains information on lots of different fraudulent activities Kordsmeyer has taken part in. The money he embezzled from the military budgets, hiring Tarantula. There's enough in here to get him to rot in jail for a couple of consecutive life sentences.
Dzwonimy.
Get Lieutenant Colonel...
As you wish.
Genialne.
Lieutenant Colonel Chapman, come to my tent immediately. I order you to arrest me, along with Tarantula, my accomplice, for the crimes of embezzlement, fraud, and abuse of power. Since I may eventually deny all this, let me mention that the documents which prove it that...
Keep still, soldier boy.
Ale szybko to wymyśliła. Niedobra.
So long, soldier boy.
After hearing Brian Basco's deeply buried and confused memories, these are my conclusions regarding what really took place on Mala Island. The Army arrived to provide backup for a scientific operation, observing the falling of a small meteorite in the central lake on Mala Island. With the help of the mercenary, who Basco refers to as Tarantula, Colonel Kordsmeyer intended to steal the core of the meteorite, or in other words, the Trantonite, before the scientists arrived. When Brian Basco showed up, asking for Gina, who had fallen into the lake from an airplane, the colonel decided to get rid of him without providing any further explanation. With the army refusing to help, Basco stole some diving equipment and the military uniform he mentioned.
To jest nieprawda przecież. Chociaż
And he
częściowo.
rescued Gina, who was lying unconscious in an underwater cave inhabited by sea turtles, which he referred to as the Trantorian spacecraft and its alien crew. He was exhausted and nearly frozen to death. This explains his paranoid inventions related with Alaska. He made it to the surface with Gina and got some help from the military in the end. And while they were waiting inside of a tent, Kordsmeyer came in to make sure they didn't know anything about his plans. That is the moment Tarantula chose to betray the colonel in order to steal the coveted meteorite core herself.
Na serio?
She put a gun in Brian Basco's hand at a time when he didn't even have the strength to move. She held her hand over Brian Basco's, forcing him to press the trigger. And she shot Kordsmeyer. Going into shock clouded Basco's memory, and in the meantime, Tarantula escaped. Chapman
Miss
detained
Palmer?
Basco, committed suicide months
Yes.
later. I don't have a clue who this Tarantula really is, but I trust that if we find her, life will become a lot easier for Brian Basco.
O nie.
Allow me to explain the situation to you, Judge. You will write up a report declaring Brian Basco guilty, based on the evidence found by Dr. Bennett.
That evidence doesn't exist.
It does. The recordings from the hypnotherapy sessions, Chapman's email.
Both prove he's innocent.
They'll never know. Tonight, Gina Timmons will force open the door of this house and she'll destroy all the evidence.
You'll never get that report, even if you threaten to kill me.
You're already dead. After destroying the evidence, Gina will shoot you 5 times, point blank. After that, she'll take the gun, put it in her own mouth, and
Have you no scruples? You planned it all out?
not everything. My dilemma, dear Judge, is whether to order 2 coffins or 3. Start writing.
O nie, to jej córka pewnie, sędziny. Niedobrze, ona musi napisać, a my jesteśmy teraz z Giną. O.
Man, a few years ago, that day I fell down dancing and dislocated my thumb, I would have never imagined I would actually be thankful for new flexibility in my thumb.
Lol.
Otherwise, I'd still be stuck in those handcuffs. And as for opening them with a tie pin, well, we all have a past, but getting back to the present. I can't escape or I run the risk that Tarantula will make Gabbo and Judge Whitley pay for it. So I guess all I can do is try to ask for help. But how? And from who?
Ciekawe. Dobra, wiecie co? Zapiszemy tą grę tutaj. 37. A 37, fuck. Okej, dobra, sporo się wydarzyło. Zobaczmy. Tak, to co widzieliśmy przed chwilą. Tutaj mamy cały opis, to sobie obejrzymy w następnym odcinku. To już oglądaliśmy. I tu mamy tylko jeden fragment z Brianem, który będzie najprawdopodobniej ostatnim już z ostatnich rozdziałów. Tak więc cóż, na wszelki wypadek, bo po prostu ja nie ufam tym grom, zapiszę jeszcze raz. No i co? Mam nadzieję, że się wam podobało. Zapraszam na kolejny odcinek z Runaway at Twist of Fate. Jeden już pewnie z ostatnich, chociaż może jeszcze będzie z 5-6 tak około. No i cóż, mam nadzieję, że się wam podobało. Jeżeli tak, to dajcie łapkę w górę, skomentujcie ten filmik. No i oczywiście, jeżeli nie jesteście jeszcze moimi widzami, to zachęcam do subskrypcji mojego kanału. To wszystko z mojej strony i trzymajcie się, cześć!